Welcome back to everyone to another episode of The Whole Perspective. My name is Kevin Delory, Chief Lending Officer with EPM. As always, joined by my good man, Kenny Phillips, Senior Vice President of Lending here at EPM. Today, we have a guest on the show. He is the man, the myth, the legend. If you don't know him, you heard of him. He is actually a great friend of EPM, a good friend of Kenny and mine. So we're very lucky to have him on the show. I can't wait to talk about all the great stuff they have going on over there at NEXA. But without further ado, I'll let Kenny make the introduction.
Absolutely. As you said, he's a great friend. Mike Kortas is the Chief Executive Officer of NEXA Mortgage, has more than 20 years of mortgage experience, and has served many roles in industry from loan officer, team leader, branch manager, regional manager, and vice president. He is a co-founder of NEXA, which was established in 2017 with a single goal of becoming the best place for all independent loan officers to work. Under Mike's leadership, the company has grown to be the number one mortgage broker in just 5 years with over 2,300 loan officers throughout the country. Mike resides in Arizona, the home state of NEXA, with his wife and three children. And congratulations, Mike. I believe your son just got a Division I scholarship to play basketball. Welcome, Mike.
You probably had a fourth children to that preview.
I got an update.
Come on, Kenny.
So that's going to be our fault for sending out the three though. So we took in another youngster. So
Nice.
Yeah, I want to say the same thing, man. That's big. Your son's going to UIW in San Antonio, Division One. I see.
Yeah.
As a dad, it's got to be a proud moment. I've seen you post so many videos of coaching him, and you get the basketball court at the house or NEXA Arena, whatever we're calling it. But you're constantly pushing it. That is something that I think I as a parent get a little nervous of pushing too hard. My daughter's 7; she's into competitive cheerleading, and now that cheerleading's in the Olympics, I'm like, maybe there's a chance. But it's got to be a great journey, man. You've had 17 years of it. I've only had 7 years of it. That's got to be awesome to watch.
no, it's fun. It's exciting. I'm excited for him because you know what, he's been on this basketball journey for about 10 years himself, and going from AAU team to AAU team, playing at a level where there's no second place trophies. He actually got cut from teams at 9 years old and learned early that nobody's going to give life to you, and he's got to deal with me, of course, pushing him pretty hard, and sometimes that comes to a head between us sometimes, but he understands I got his best interests in mind. And he came through, and he wanted this, and it's something he fought for, and it worked out for him. And I'm excited for him. He wants to play D1 ball, and that was his goal. He wants to go to college and play D1 ball, and it's a big moment for me, not just because of his goals, but because he'll be the first male in our family to ever go to college. So it's exciting.
That's awesome. I'll tell you one thing I am going to miss is one of my favorite things, the LOS Summit, and then more importantly, our golf trip we have coming up with P. Reed. It's always been a good time. That's where I really got to know you and have conversations with you. And I think one thing that people see is that you're big in the community. They think the NEXA community. And I just want to tell everyone, this guy is big in the broker community. This guy is 100% broker. I've watched him share with competitors of things that he's doing to make his team successful. I've watched him fight for everyone in the community. I watched him help young brokers that have said, hey, look, I want to go out and, start my own thing, but I need a place to, crash until I do that. That is someone that is, not doing it because what's in it for them. He really sees that, what could happen to the community. And anyone that listens to me, I preach community. And the reason being is, I look at how important, powerful the realtor community is, right? And they could still make 6% a transaction. And then I look at our broker community and I look at all these different, factions. Instead of us uniting to have that same power that realtors do, we'd rather invest in this group, this group, this group, this group, and we have 5 different groups, and not realizing what you've been talking about is if we all came together, those 5 groups, how much more power we would have for advocacy. We talk about advocacy a lot and why we only make 3%, they could make 6%. And I would challenge that it's harder to get financing for a borrower than it is to get someone in a home. 99% of the times the home sells itself. Getting that financing through and educating that borrower on being a homeowner is a lot of work, and it's not easy. So that's one thing you do. What would you say to people of why is it so hard to get our shit together to be one community so we can advocate as one and put down our egos and have the same power as that realtor community does.
Well, I think you hit it on the head. We have to put down our egos, right? Me included. And look, I did a lot of fighting with some of these associations in the last couple of years, and I really think that it's time for everybody to come back together, because right now everybody's focusing on volume and everything, but when the world shifts, we need to be protected as a community. We need to be united. So these organizations, right, all of them, they have to come together and somehow figure out how they're going to work together, where it's in the political arena, whether it's in the growth arena, whether it's in the awareness arena, who does what, but they all have to figure out a way to work together. Put the damn egos down, put the names down. We don't care what it's called. Call it whatever you want, right? And there's going to be a big factor. Well, if they were to do that, who does what part of it? But they have to figure out how to come together in this. This division within the industries, and I'm guilty of it as well. So let's not pat me anywhere on any back at this point, right? Until we can maybe start bringing some of these communities back together to do things together. But it has to be done, because if we don't, we're always going to be floundering around, wondering why the NAR had so much more power than we ever could, when what we do is so critical in that mission. And it just has to get done. So whether it's the MBA, AIM, NAM, backpack, it doesn't, right? They all have a function. They all have a role. We need to recognize each one of them, put down our egos and recognize them for what they do well, and then work together with them on what they do well. But we got to work with all of them together. So.
Yeah, spot on. I think that's the key. I just don't know if everyone realizes the power we have together. That's the main word. It's together. Listen, I understand the purpose of AIM. We worked for a company that was an asset manager. That's all you were, was an asset. I don't care if you were a broker. We couldn't call you a teammate. Today, we call you a teammate. Why? Because we double down on wholesale. We're not in it just for the asset. We're in it for the relationship. So I understand that we have to look out for that as well. But as a collective group, it just needs to come together. And then that's real advocacy. That's real power. That's when change happens. Right, Kenny?
No, absolutely. It's funny. I think sometimes, I've known Mike a long time, along with Matt and Kevin, and we talk all the time. And sometimes I think you're misunderstood. The conversations that we have, it's really about being transparent, being honest, level playing field. And I think sometimes people don't understand that until they actually have a conversation with you and hear your side of everything. So I just want to make that point.
Well, I think I'm completely misunderstood a lot of times. People think I'm doing it to fight for, and they make an assumption that I'm looking out for something of myself. But listen to what I say when I call out some of the things that I call out. I'm calling out what's wrong. I'm calling out where people are doing things wrong when I call them out, right? And let's maybe embrace that a little bit, acknowledge it. When somebody has a problem, I don't shrug them off and say, I'm not going to listen to you. I said, well, what's the problem? Let's communicate. It comes down to communicating at the end of the day. I mean, I say this all the time. The world's problems are created when we don't communicate, but they are resolved when we do. We can resolve any problem that we have if we communicate with each other.
100%.
When you said something, your son being the first to go to college, you've overcome a lot of adversity to get where you are. I think sometimes people see the end product, right? People see me today and they say, oh, this guy must have always been this. I've had to overcome every adversity, and that's why down markets don't bother me. Challenges don't bother me. To me, it's just another badge I wear. This shaved head, it hasn't been easy, but I'm almost through it. This is just another piece of adversity. This is just another merit badge on my sash of merit badges of overcoming obstacles. And I think when people see, your post, the NEXA jet, the NEXA boat, this and that, this guy worked for it. Don't ever think that somebody wakes up, if you don't know their story, and ends up, in the place that they're in. I heard the story last year. I don't think there was a dry eye in the house at LOS Summit with you on Losers Lunch with Phil Mancuso, Choo Choo. Where, you shared your story and everybody could relate to that. So in this market of, oh my God, I don't know what it is. This is just another merit badge for the strong. This is just another merit badge for the people that overcome adversity and obstacles. They don't just sit and cry and say, what am I going to do today? No, what I'm going to do today is twice as what I did yesterday. And what you're doing at LOS Summit, bringing in, all of these great speakers, Andy Elliott, Johnson, Phil Mancuso, bringing in all these people that you can go up there and listen to and get inspiration. Inky Johnson, you want to talk about adversity.
Right.
You don't look any further than the guy that's on the show right now. You want to talk about adversity and getting to the top, and that's what you're going to hear more about on thank you. Yeah, the head is looking good. But that's what you teach people about. You share who Mike Kortas is. So, and you don't just do it for NEXA Nation. You open it up to everyone. You open it up to your competitors. Not your competitors, people, your friends in the industry that you're welcoming and to say, I want to help you be better because I believe in brokers. What should they be? What's the message of this year? I think I saw something, no excuses, which I love.
Well, it is. It's no excuses this year, right? Last year, we wanted people to get out and do things and take action. And this year, we see a lot of people with excuses. And you know what? It's interesting that you mentioned the story because this year I'll be on stage and I'm going to tell the whole story this time. And I don't tell the story. Even my kids are going to be there because they're shocked. They're like, Dad, you don't talk about your overall story. But I don't look at my story, right? The adversities that I might have had gone through as if they were things that held me back. They were things that made me stronger is the reality. And so my story is not an excuse. It's not my excuse. It's my reason. And I need people to understand that there are difficult stories in the world, things that people go through. But you can't use those things as an excuse to not do something. Your story is your reason. It is not your excuse. And that's the message that I'm going to send this year. And I'm a little bit nervous because I don't tell this story. I don't tell this story in public. I don't tell this story freely to people. There's some things that I'm going to talk about that I might be on that stage and I might be angry at times and I might be sad at times. And it's going to be a lot of emotions going on with me during that 45 to 50 minutes that I have on stage when I go up this time. So
I love it. I wouldn't have the mindset I have today for the battle that I'm going through, and I'm going to kick the shit out of this thing, and I'll be done in thank you. I'll be done in 30 days, and it's because of just what you just said. There's things that I think back that make me emotional, that make me mad, make me sad, make me angry. Have all these emotions in me, but I wouldn't be who I am today without those little pieces of me, without overcoming adversity. That's why I think I laugh at adversity. It's just another day. There's no excuse, right? If I could survive poverty, single parent, abuse, all of these things to get to where I am today, anybody can. You can't cry to me over a shit market. Pull your head out of your ass. Get on the phone and do twice as much as you did yesterday. And
right.
If you want it bad enough, you'll get it. But that adverse, I won't take anything away because I wouldn't be where I am today in this battle of just saying F you to this and getting past it if I didn't have all those things where I could have given up 50 times in my life. Right. And I just keep saying, screw you.
Les Brown said it best, man. It doesn't take any effort, any motivation, or any drive to stay down there at a low level. It takes everything in you to rise.
I'm hungry. I have to do that.
I'm hungry.
Let's talk about that a little bit, Mike. So you guys have 2,300 LOs, right? And you guys have a town hall. I think it's every Tuesday. You guys have a town hall. You have different levels of experience, a lot of mentorships, things like that. What's the messaging right now in this market? As rates start to creep up and people get nervous, what's your message to the team to keep them going and, making sure they make it to the other side?
Look, our message to our loan officers is, look, first and foremost, right, you got to grind it out. You got to make the calls, right? There's no secret pill to this, right? We keep hearing about, oh, this company wants to start offering this lead or here's an easy button over there. And the button is never easy at the end of the day, or it's never lucrative at the end of the day if you're trying to find that easy out button, right? But if you just get down and grind, there are deals out there. The question is are you going to be the one who has them? There are transactions being done. There are purchases being made. Heck, there's even refinances out there, right? HELOCs don't make a ton of money, but there's something. Right? You do what you got to do in this market so that you have the right to be in the market that's about to come to us. But you got to make the calls. You got to put in the effort. You got to show up. You got to have the right attitude because nobody wants to do business with a jackass, right? With somebody with a piss poor attitude, boo-hoo me, right? So you got to put in the effort and you got to make the calls. And people think, well, I keep making the calls and everybody says no. Well, then make another call. Then you're saying something wrong in the call. Look at yourself, point a thumb at yourself, record your call, listen to what you're saying. Would you buy from you in this situation? What could you have said better? Learn from it, right? Sports athletes at the high school level start going through game film. By the time you go to college, you're literally recording practice. You're game filming your practices, right? And then in the pros, forget about it. But what, I said it a couple of years ago at an event, what level are they playing at? If you're a salesman and this is your career in your industry and you're a professional at this, you should be game filming yourself, recording what you do and figuring out how you could have done it better. You'll get that one sales call tomorrow. And this is harder than batting averages right now, right? This is hard. Batting averages, you got a 200 batting average, you're doing okay. You're fine, right? 250 batting average, you're good. But this is harder than that right now. And that's okay. We got to come through, right? The strong will survive at the end of the day. And I tell them, listen, if you can make it through, every day there's loan officers dropping off. I anticipate about 350 loan officers left the industry last week alone, right? And so every day people are dropping off. The question is it's going to be you. And so are you going to have the right to be here when the markets are good? Or are you going to give up? You're going to throw in the flag? You're going to quit? And if you are, do us a favor, just quit. That's fine. Just quit. But let us focus on those who have what it takes to make that extra call.
You're right. There's going to be a refi boom coming. If the weak are leaving the market because they can't hack it. Mm-hmm. Don't be the guy that lets that week come back when the refinance boom happens and take some of your business. It's funny. I just seen Brian Shields post something. Brian shared something with us. When I close a loan, I send people a birthday card. I send them an anniversary card. I stay in touch because I don't want to ever lose that customer. So plant the seed today for what's going to happen in 12, 18 months, 6 months. I don't know. I can't predict the future when the rates come back down, but you plant the seed today for what's going to come tomorrow. And then to your point, then go still make that extra call to find that one more borrower, that one more client that you can help get into refinance or get into their home. So your point, it's up to us, the real winners, the real people that stay and tough this out, to continue to keep our customers, to keep our clients. So when that refinance happens, we're the one there and not this guy that jumped because times got a little tough because he didn't want to make the extra call. And now all of a sudden there's a refi boom and there he is. He's back applying for a job because any jackass can pick up the phone and offer a lower rate. Be the guy today that's prepared to be just as busy today as when that refinance boom comes and you've got 30 deals coming in a day wanting, how do I get the 5 1/4? Yeah, don't let these people that jump, these fly-by-nights come back in. It's going to survive.
And stop looking for the secret pill and stop looking for the easy button. They don't exist. Right. They're not out there, right? No successful person ever found it. Right. They just went out and grinded it out. They worked. They did the things that other people didn't want to do. They made the 200 phone calls and got only one good response out of it. It is what it is. So, but at least they had your name and you can follow up another time. So grind. Wake up 12 hours a day in this market just to get half the business. So what? Gives us the right. So,
will you be live streaming LOS Summit again this year?
We will. You can access it with losummit.com. So we'll have it on summit.com.
I want to watch because I want to make sure I cannot travel, but I want to definitely be there to listen to your story 100%.
I appreciate
I'm excited for that.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, 100% right, Brian. I mean, these are the things, this is what a community is. And thank you, Brian, for chiming in. It's when, people are out there to help each other. The real alpha dogs, the real winners. There's nothing to hide doing that, So sorry, I don't know what's going on.
Busy today, brother.
No, that's fun. Kevin always busts my chops about running track in high school, things like that. But a message that my coach Jim Doyle gave me, he said that when I first started running, he said, running in the pack is easy. The second, third, fourth is easy. He goes, your challenge is gonna come when you start winning races. You're number one because now you have no one to chase. So now you're running against the clock. So you got to learn to run against the clock. And you guys been, in the first place, running this race for the last 4 or 5 years. How do you manage to continue to, how do you run against the clock? What drives you guys or continue to separate you guys from that pack?
Well, look, we don't, we're number one broker in the country by far. We get that, right? But we want bigger than that, right? We want to go out to number one distributed originations in the company. Right, independent self-producing loan officers, and there's about 4 companies above us that still hold that title. They're retail. They're falling. We see them falling quick. Don't get me wrong, right? We are catching them, but we are not. We don't look at ourselves like we're completely up in that front of that pack yet. We want to be the leader in the industry, right? Not the number one broker. I want to take I want to take that word out of it and be the number one mortgage originator is what we want to be. But at the end of the day, look, there's some damn good brokers out there. We feel them. I feel them breathing on my neck. I see them on social media posting some of their successes. I feel it. So, and I don't ever stop to forget to look back. And I look back where they're at now, and I know where I was, and I know my mindset, and I know what their mindset probably is too. Right? Don't ever underestimate another man, whether I like that man or not, or woman, right? Whether I like that man or woman or not, I will never underestimate another human being. They are powerful individuals, and the individuals that we're playing in business with here that I'm competing against, they're strong people. They got stories of their own. They got motivations of their own, and I can never forget that yes, I do too. And yes, I'm an extreme individual when it comes to work ethic and grinding and all that good stuff, but so are they. And it's fun. At the end of the day, you gotta laugh at the end of the day or at the end of the week when you sit down and actually reflect and have a cocktail or something. You gotta just chuckle a little bit and realize that you are playing and competing with the best. And I appreciate every one of those big competitors out there for pushing me further to make myself better. And I'm pushing them, right? Or dragging them. And it's a constant fight amongst us. And sometimes we don't get along and we get passionate at each other. But at the end of the day, we're competing against competitors. And it's actually a phenomenally wonderful thing. And it's better for all the loan officers out there as those big brokers get to do this, right? Or as lenders compete against each other. It makes everybody better, and it makes it better for the loan officer, and makes it better for the consumers.
Yeah, you guys come up twice yesterday. 2 calls I had with 2 really good partnerships we have. One said, "I want to be the next NEXA. I want to get there. I want to do this." The other one said, "I don't want to be the next NEXA. I don't want that. I want to keep it to, a mid-size." So you guys have become the standard. That's a huge compliment. You weren't on the call. Obviously, it was me, and they didn't use that with me, and they were trying to relate. So there's a lot to be said. There's no need. I was trying to explain to the AEs yesterday. Sometimes it's okay to have swagger. It's okay to be prepared and be confident and go with something and say, "Look at us, we grew 520%." Don't get too cocky with it now because you can go backwards. That's where the line crosses. And I felt cocky. I felt swagger for you yesterday because the guy, like I said, the 2 calls were totally different. I want to be the next. They're comparing themselves up here. And the other one said, "Look, I'm afraid to get that big." Not worth their words, but I don't want to get that big. I want to stay within this box here, 150 to 200 L's, and that's great. They understand what their business model is.
Yeah.
But to be used in the industry, when you talk to companies out there, we're at the NBA, we're at NAM, we're at Fuse, whatever. The name that always comes up to compare themselves to is NEXA. Where do I rank with NEXA? So
I might use it on stage this week, man. I might use it on stage, Kevin. So.
You should. I mean, that you become the measuring stick for people, and it's usually it used to be volume, right? I want to get to 50 million, 100 million. No, I want to be NEXA, or I don't want to be. I want to be this many. I want to be that many. And so you here we call it roadie, which used to be the bunny they used to throw out to the dogs. We used to go to the Greyhound Park all the time before they close it down and watch the dogs chasing. They'd say, "Here comes Rhodey." And I mean, all the dogs have to chase Rhodey. You'd see maybe once in a blue moon them catch Rhodey and the dog gets zapped, and then another whole nother story. So you're Rhodey with EPM. We watch people try to catch you all the time.
Hey man, I know that there are those out there that are pushing, and they're coming, and I feel them and I see them, right? And I'm rooting for them because they're just going to make me better at the same time. So, and I love that you finally do have another broker. I said this on your stage last year. I need another broker over 1,000. I need somebody to take some of this heat off, right? And there's like 2 brokers, really 3 brokers, if you really look at it, pushing that over 1,000 LOs now. And I love it because you know what, it's kind of going to relieve some certain heats from us a little bit, and then we can hopefully use that as momentum here at NEXA. But it's also driving the wholesale channel. And I love it because these guys get along with them every single day or not. We push each other, and we're actually helping each other without even realizing we are at the end of the day. Because I'm talking to a guy at a retail, talking to him about joining joining NEXA Mortgage, and he says, well, you know what, let me go check out Edge or Barrett then, or C2, and they'll go and talk to those guys, right? And they end up, maybe they just liked them better. I was too much for them. I don't know, right? But whatever the case may be, but they're doing the same thing. They're talking to guys, and they say, well, you know what, I'm going to get another perspective. I'm going to go out, and I'm going to see who else is offering what, and they look at NEXA, and they say, I actually like this better. So we actually are feeding each other in this world by competing against each other. So, and I again, it's fun to be a part of. Can you feel the shift that's happening though in the markets right now? You can feel it, right? The market share is shifting, and in 2025, late 2024, maybe, right? It all changes. It's all going to be different. It's going to be completely different from what it was. And we are at that pivotal moment where we're feeling and we're a part of that shift now, and it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, we see it with Believer, right? We just rolled out Believer, and we're seeing the amount of people reaching out to us to say, how do I go over to the broker side? But I'm going to give everyone the secret right now, and I'm sure this is the secret for next year. I'm going to tell you, because Mike and I are a lot alike. We got a lot of similar background on stories. And I'm going to tell you, here's the only way that someone takes NEXA's business. Here's the only way that someone takes EPM's business is when you're your only competitor. When you want to know what's going on in this market, when you start not following through on what you say you're going to do, you will lose business. When you don't honor your word, when you don't care about your reputation, you will lose business. If you do those things and say, I'm going to call you back in an hour, and I call you back in 45 minutes, I gain more of your respect. All of these things are the things that make NEXA. All of these things have what made us grow 520%. The only people that can steal my business today and steal NEXA's business today is us. When we don't follow through on what we say we're going to do to our teammates, to our borrowers, to our brokers, because at the end of the day, whether you're in wholesale, whether you're a broker, the only person that matters is that borrower. That's why Eddie came out with borrowers are best. If we do what's right and we honor what we say we're going to do, then those borrowers will keep coming back to NEXA. NEXA will keep bringing them to EPM. But when you stop doing that, there's free advice. If you want to not catch NEXA, don't do those things. If you want to not grow 520%, don't do those things.
We're going to call you out along the way if you do.
You don't. It's simple. You fail on those things, you will fail in your business. Don't blame anyone else. Don't blame NEXA for adding loan officers, being too aggressive, doing this. It's because they're doing what they say they're going to do. It isn't like there's some secret out there. They're telling you what they're going to do. And it's that simple. It's the people now that are saying what they think the borrower wants to hear to get that deal in, only to let them down. And then guess what happens? That borrower never talks to them again, or jumps and goes find a guy at NEXA to pull that loan and go to. It's that simple. That's why these guys are successful. Stop looking at all of the posts and all this other shit. Is you the secret? Did I miss anything on that, Mike?
No, dude, it's true. We preach this all the time. It's true transparency. It's full transparency. Tell loan officers everything. There's nothing they shouldn't know about your organization, right? Whether it's how much money you actually made on a deal, this whole margin thing. Stop padding the shit to the margins. Be transparent. Tell your loan officer what you made. Otherwise, they're questioning you. You might not think they are, but they're questioning you in the back because you have guys like us. Some of the other bigs out there are now going this full transparency models, and we're calling people out on their margins, right, for doing those things. And so be transparent with them, because if you're not, they're questioning in the back of your head, and you don't know what they're saying in the background because we're making them question those things now, right? We believe loan officers are smarter than owners think they are, or mortgage companies executives think they are. We think that they can handle the truth and they understand everything. And it's fair, right? I want my people to be. People use the word partners a lot, and they don't always mean it, right? Companies use the word partners a lot, but they don't always mean it, because partners tell each other the truth. Partners can tell each other when things are wrong, right? Partners can say, hey, look, I really don't like the look of that shirt today, right? Honesty, right? Brutal honesty, sometimes we call it. There's nothing wrong with it. So that full disclosure, full transparency is key, I think, in the industry right now. So,
Chris is right.
Do what you say.
Right.
Yeah, good point, Chris. I mean, that's exact to your point, Mike. If you can't handle the truth, then you don't want that person as a partner. It's like, a partner is someone you tell the truth to, good, bad, or indifferent. Sure. I hate the word, sales and ops. We're all on the same team. We all have one goal in common: make sure that borrower feels good at the end, and then through that, the broker is going to feel great. Those are teammates. When I care about you, that's a teammate. When I only care about myself and the growth, that's one-sided relationship. I mean, we've all been in one-sided relationships, throughout somewhere in our life.
Absolutely.
And I can tell you how it ends because I was the one that I was in the one-sided because I was selfish asshole when I was in my 30s, and it ends up in divorce. You end up not trusting the other person. The other person leaves you and says, I can never trust you again. So that's where it ends. A partnership is, to your point, I'm going to hit you between the teeth, good, bad, or indifferent. I'm going to let you know what's going on. And if you can't handle it, then you're not a true partner. If you can handle it and you want to sit down, listen, people call me out all the time in this office. I walk by and they say, this is happening. And I was like, oh, you shouldn't tell them that. Why? What do you mean you shouldn't tell me that? I have to know because I can do something and I'm going to make it right.
I was going to ask you about culture, and you talked about full transparency. Do you think that's the key? Because I experienced something last year at LOS Summit with you and Matt, and your wife was there, and a couple other LOs, and I think it was like 12 o'clock at night, and you was looking for the update. You guys were just about to go over 2,000 LOs, I believe it was, or 2,100 LOs, and it was like New Year's. Everyone's excited, waiting for you to refresh the screen to see how many LOs were there. And I was like, this is impressive. Like, they are more excited than you about increasing, the number of LOs. Where does that culture come from? Is it the transparency? How did that come about?
Well, I mean, transparency certainly fits into it. When you're truly transparent with your partners, your teammates, when you're truly transparent, then they can feel like they trust you and they can buy into this. If you're not and they can't trust it and they're wondering what the heck you're really doing or padding or what's going on, right? There's this little part of them that's not truly bought in all the way, right? Yeah, you got your management teams that are paid to be bought in, right? But to really win somebody's heart and soul, they have to trust you. And so we have a massive trust level here. Like, look, people know, right, that if they come and ask me, my wife, right, she's like, hey, do my butt look big in these jeans? Yes, they do, right? And that's just the way I'm like, I'm just going to be honest with you. And so she knows that I'm going to give an honest answer, but she also knows when I say, man, you're looking really good in those jeans today. She knows, like, oh, he's being honest. Right? She can trust exactly what I'm saying. She ain't got to call her sister, her friend out and say, hey, I need you to tell me if I'm actually looking good in these. She knows that I'm not lying. And with that, we can move on faster and go forward quicker. Right. And then you help get that buy-in. Transparency is a huge part of it. Don't get me wrong. Some people love my aggressiveness. Some people absolutely hate it. And NEXA's not for them. And I get it. But I'm here to win. I'm here to win for anybody who puts on the shirt. And they know that I've got their back under any circumstances. They know I'll step in front of a bus for them. That I'm willing to go to fight for them under any circumstance. So I'm not your normal CEO, right? They just know that I got their back at that point.
And I'd challenge you. I'd say you bring that to the broker community. That same aggressiveness. Like, if you're in that community, I got your back. I've watched it. I've seen it. I was on a call last week with someone that was looking to make a transition, and you guys were there to help. I mean, you're helping guys. You're helping, and knowing that he's telling you right out, hey, I'm not gonna be there long, but I need some help. I'm triggered. I got you, because you're about building that channel. So when people think it's NEXA against the world, I gotta say bullshit. It's Mike Kortas, the leader, leading the broker community to a place that makes sense. You don't have to like his messaging and the way he does it, but his intentions are pure to grow that, to build that community, to be like the next realtor advocacy group where real change can come about if we just unite. You don't have to like everything he says. You don't have to like everything he posts. But I tell you what, you have to respect the fact that he's out to grow the broker channel and he's willing to help. I've seen it. This isn't I'm not a paid advertiser for Mike. I bring people to Mike because I trust Mike, because I know I get what I get when I call him. He's going to be honest with me. So when someone says, where should I go for a transition? To me, it's easy. NEXA.
Look, on your point, right? It's about the broker community as well. Without a broker community, NEXA is nothing. If I don't have others who believe in the broker community, then I don't have lenders, wholesale lenders like EPM, right? And then that's not going to happen. So you have to look out for the entire community. And look, even though like Tom Alls and I don't see eye to eye on everything, and we get into it sometimes, right? Most people know about Trevor Barrett's arguments and my arguments. But at the end of the day, right, if one of those guys are online or somebody's attacking them in the way they do business anywhere, I'll guarantee you I got their back and I'm coming coming to help them out in that. Because the broker community is the best damn community in the entire mortgage industry, right? We're fun. we're agile. We have our gripes, but it's a fun and interesting industry. And at the end of the day, we need to be together as a community. And I will defend those guys if anybody retail is coming at them, if they're attacking them in any way, because they do have a better way of doing business, and they do good. They're good leaders for their people. And so I agree. I believe in that. I believe in growing the broker community. Listen, now at the end of the day, you come at NEXA, I'm coming at you too, right? And unfortunately, we have brokers who piss on each other's Cheerios more than anything sometimes, and we got to stop that, right? We gotta move forward together in an industry and stop hating on each other for our successes. I had somebody the other day trying to hijack my son's post, talking shit about me about my damn Jets, and I'm like, get the hell out of here, man. I'm like, you should be praising and saying good for you, right? And I will do that even for the competitors that I don't always agree with, because they are good leaders to their people in this community. And I don't want them out of the community. Some people think I might, but I don't. I think they're good people, and they feed this community. This community needs multiple opinions.
Love it. Love it. Well, you gave us so much. We're not going to ask the staple question of how you define your value. You gave too much in this episode. We really appreciate it. But tell us how we get tickets to LOS Summit, website, what's going on.
Just go to losummit.com. You can register right there. I know the hotel itself, I think, is booked out, but there's nearby ones if somebody's coming in from out of town. But it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of event, trying to make it better than it was last year, both educational and entertaining at the same time. Right, is the key here, which is why we enjoyed the losers lunch session. It was phenomenal. People usually just go to lunch. You don't get education and or any form of entertainment during it. We want to make sure that they have that the entire way through this whole thing. But losummit.com, that's where you go.
Yeah, I'll tell you what,
if you're live, if they can't attend in person. So
I'm going to be there. And I mean, if you're a loan officer, you should check out LOS Summit. I mean, the LOS support actually. I'll tell you, I went to LOS support. I go on there every now and then. The conversations that go on there are great. The coaches are great. I mean, you can learn, and it's not just so much learn about NEXA, just getting help with anything. You got to leave the state you're not in. You go over there, you could refer it off to someone. These guys are there to help, and then they're part of the community. I mean, that's what the difference is. They're not just out, you don't see a lot of posts about NEXA this, NEXA that, and it's just about support. It's about, hey, get this resource, get that resource. I know some people that have gone on there and like, holy shit, it was far more than I expected. Like I told you, go sign up for it.
Yeah,
you'll learn a lot through LOS support. I think these guys really got it dialed in. The way that your loan officers are able to escalate things, get things done, get help in structuring loans. It's just next level in there. And a lot of people don't have it. A lot of people are trying to duplicate it, but it's not even close. So if you're a loan officer, go check that out. I'm not just saying that. But definitely go check out lossummit.com. I'm going to be on there. I'm not going to be able to attend. I'm really interested in hearing all the speakers, and it is a good time. You guys got some. I love the WWE stuff last year. The Macho Man. It was a good time. It is something that I truly will miss this year. I will miss the gathering at the golf outing. And to your point, Mike, we bring in all top brokers in the country, and these guys sit around, Mike and Matt, and have conversations with everyone. They're sharing ideas how to get bigger. They're sharing with others how to ideas to streamline processes. It's just these guys get so much to offer. You see them out there, go over there and have a conversation. I guarantee you'll end up leaving an NEXA fan. But Mike, as always, thanks, brother. Kenny, will see you. Phil,
I'll see you Sunday, Mike.
Yeah, I'm going to miss it. I did like the casino last year. Unfortunately, I've heard it's not at a casino, so that's good for me. I'll save some money that I'm not going. But man, I really truly enjoy.
We got you, brother.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. I look forward to seeing. I will be back on the tour on January. I'll be traveling. One of the things I do want to do is come out to see you guys. I want to start getting on the road more to see some of our top accounts and learn some stuff from you guys, how to make my business better. Because if you guys don't tell me what you don't like, I can't get better. And you guys have always been open and honest with me. And I appreciate that. It helps us become a stronger teammate and partner to you. Same way you share stuff with the broker community. All you're trying to do is help people come together. But I'll tell you, if you guys, community, you got to listen to this guy. I think we could rally around someone like this and really form a strong community that gets you guys real advocacy in numbers, not in factions, not in groups, not what's best interest for these people, the best interest for this, the best interest for brokers. There's got to be one strong community, just like the realtors, and that's when you guys really start winning.
I agree. Let's come together, man.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Mike. As always, Kenny, enjoy this weekend. Make sure you bring back some NEXA swag.
Absolutely.
I was going to wear one today, but didn't match with the head, so I had to go with white. But thanks again, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
All right.